We want to put the government of Kenya to task. This is not the first time it is happening. It has happened before with our 36 colleagues who were kidnapped from Kisumu, brought here and arraigned on charges of terrorism. We raised a memorandum with the High Commissioner here. We didn't get any response. Up to now, we are not favored with a reply. It has happened again. In the same manner, by the same forces, you just walk into a hotel, break into somebody's room, pick them up, drive them away at a breakneck speed, whisk them away, and end up charging them in Ugandan courts here or tribunals. That is an absurdity. It's a travesty of the law. It's a travesty of justice, which is totally unacceptable. Because you can only repatriate people who are alleged to have committed offenses outside the jurisdiction of this court in two circumstances. One, deportation. And these are all regulated by the processes governed under the law. It can only be either through deportation or extradition, in which case you have to follow the due process as enshrined in the laws governing the two sister countries. Uganda has got its extradition law. Likewise, Kenya has got theirs. So, if you were to pursue extradition processes, there are mechanisms. It is initiated by a memoranda raised by the Minister for Foreign Affairs here to his counterpart in Kenya. And then they follow the processes which involve a judicial process, because the courts of Kenya have to issue orders to that effect, that so and so is required back in their country on account of certain cases, charges preferred against them. They must be considered as fugitives who are running away from the long arm of the law, who are running away from justice in their countries of origin. It's only that in those circumstances. Two, if it's about deportation, you must have entered that country, Kenya, illegally, and it should be that country complaining that somebody entered here illegally, or having entered illegally, they committed offenses in that respective country. So in that case, again, the judiciary has to pronounce itself on that matter, has to issue orders that so and so, having entered here illegally or having entered here legally, committed an offense, must be deported to their country. It has not happened that way. So here they are, illegally. And the Human Rights Enforcement Act of Uganda is very clear. Once you've gotten proceedings which are rooted in a nullity, they cannot be sustained in any court of law, including the court martial here. They must be dismissed. And the accused persons have to be discharged. So it's the reason we are asking this court, please strike out discharge. Secondly, we are asking again the government of Kenya, is it, as matters stand today, is it safe for opposition politicians in Uganda to enter Kenya and stay there? Is it safe? Or we are persona non grata now in Kenya? Or Kenyans, or the government of Kenya is complicit in these transgressions, in these violations being perpetrated by the regime forces here? How can they just cross the borders, pick out people who entered Kenya legally and whisk them away with reckless abandon, and the government of Kenya keeps quiet about it with no intervention at all? So we consider them to be complicit in all what is happening. The government of Kenya has to account to us. They owe us an explanation. What is happening with all these illegal kidnaps happening in Kenya, and our people being whisked back here illegally? So they owe us an explanation. We are going to pursue that matter. We are not going to let it lie down. We are going to continue. We have time and again raised it. We questioned it. We raised the memorandum with the High Commissioner here. They never responded. we are going to pursue it again. Then the other thing is about the legality of the proceedings here. We challenged the constitutionality, not the constitutionality. We challenged the propriety of the proceedings involving civilians before the General Court Martial. And the Constitutional Court pronounced itself on this unanimously. The justices of the Constitutional Court unequivocally stated that, you see, trial of civilians in the General Court Martial is in the nullity, and therefore they should forthwith transfer all the files they were handling at that time to the civil courts. It has not happened up to now. What the Attorney General did was to apply for an interim order of stay, which was granted by Justice Owinyedola and his team, pending disposal of that appeal. To date, the appeal has not been fixed. And we're asking Justice Owinyedola, please, are you doing are you doing a favor to Ugandans? Are you being, I don't even know how to phrase it, but we are asking Justice Owinyedola, please, with all these transgressions and violation of our rights, what is it that is stopping you from fixing this case, the appeal, so that we can be free, so that we get out of this kangaroo court? Oftentimes we get our people brought here not for administration of justice, but for persecution. For how long should the Supreme Court or the court system should be complicit in the persecution of the opposition politicians under this General Court Martial? So Justice Owinyedola is also accountable for that. And
Museveni will die! Museveni will die! Museveni will die someday! Deep in my heart, I do believe Museveni will die someday. Freedom for all! Freedom for freedom! Freedom for all!
We shall never
surrender! Never surrender! Never surrender! Never surrender! Freedom for all!
Royals must enter! Royals must enter! Can the royals enter?